Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Revival League Season 2 Close Qualifiers Round 2. My name is Retro, and I'm here with a pretty interesting matchup here between Guardians Alpha and REH Gaming. They both won their previous matches in the Round 1 of the Close Qualifiers pretty convincingly. If you were watching the open qualifiers, but then didn't watch round one, you might be a little bit confused about who these people are. You didn't see them in the open qualifiers. They were invited straight into the close qualifiers by the league, so that's why, or the organization, so that's why you didn't see them before, as they were already sitting pretty secure and safe within the close qualifiers while we were watching all the other teams battle for their spots in the close qualifiers while they were in the open qualifiers. So, but it's going to be pretty interesting. A lot of the bets are on Guardians Alpha at the moment, but an interesting little fact about these teams is that they have a lot more experience competing in sort of tier 3 leagues than they do in tier 4 leagues, which is where Revival is at the moment. So, they have, a slight edge in experience maybe, and in just the way that they play, just because from having played against more higher tier teams. So that could be quite interesting coming into this game, but also coming into any other games that they might have against the Revival sort of locals who just might not be up to par with tier 3 teams. But without any further ado, it is Oregon. Bands have already come out. They're pretty interesting bands. I have to admit, they're pretty interesting bands. None of this has been expected in a way. First, we have Ying to get rid of, which Ying is, I feel like, the only standard ban out of these bands on this map. Just because of how strong she is for attack, especially coming into this basement site of Laundry and Supply, which is the first site that REH are going to. That hatch drop can already be so lethal, and especially if you've watched some of the previous games that we've had on Oregon. For example, we had a pretty good one yesterday that went all the way into overtime. Was that yesterday? Yeah, I think it was. It actually go into overtime. It was 5 stars versus War Dogs, and 5 stars managed to win it 7-5. But there was something pretty interesting to see from there. Is that this hatch drop, the one that we see right now from Buni, that hatch, once it's opened, and especially if it's sort of like a 5v5 or 4v4, not many people have died at that point, and it's getting late in the round for the execution, that hatch drop is already so lethal for a lot of attack teams. It's exponentially more lethal with the Ying on the board, so her being taken care of doesn't surprise me at all. And then Thatcher is a little bit more of a standard ban, especially, again, for that hatch. He can make taking care of that hatch so much easier and quicker because he can just disable that claw no matter where it is, and then you're sort of screwed. Clash, I think, might be a bit of a target ban from Guardians onto REH. Maybe REH play her a lot, but also she's just one of those operators you don't really want to deal with, especially come late round. So, it could just be the way the Guardians play. They don't really want to have to deal against a Clash. And then the most interesting ban out of all of these ones is Tachanka, who I do believe would have been playing inside of that elbow area that we see Nila playing right now. But he's also good on most sites, especially now that he's gotten a bit of a buff to where he has a 2x scope on his weapon. Which just means that he has a far further reach. And the first engagements have come out. Breathtaking takes the kill onto Buni. That's the smoke off the board, or that's the warden off the board. Yamis takes a kill as well. Gaps finally with a trade. And this is exactly what I was talking about, is not much time has passed and so many engagements have already happened. So you'll either see this or you'll see, 20 seconds on the clock and everyone's still alive. That's pretty much the way that Oregon ends up playing out. And Breathtaking with another grenade takes out Tortilla. It's all down to Heavy now as he loses gaps as well. 1 versus 4 with so much time still left to try and contest against these attackers is going to be a pretty difficult attempt at a clutch here. from him, looks away at just the wrong moment. I think he would have been able to get killed there on the Maverick, who's peeking into the holes. The plant is going down. The C4 will go out, but it won't be able to do anything as it's Panda pushing in through the rotate to catch the kill with his gun. And the first round on the board for Guardians Alpha, and it's a pretty unexpected turn of events, in my opinion, just because of the way that site tends to play out, and just, from the bans that we've seen, that attack is already so difficult to pull off, especially when you don't really have the execution set up perfectly, with the hatch and hatch is opened and the roamers all pushed away out of sight and everything, which takes quite a lot of time. But it was about 90 seconds into the round, not even, maybe 75-ish, when all of that action started coming out from the side of Guardians Alpha. They wasted a little bit of time with those smoke babes on the door and with the Goya canister, but then once that dissipated and the grenades started flying out, the bullets started flying in, it was just it was pretty much over as soon as it began, and it's really not looking good for REH right now, because that is one of the strongest sites in Siege, definitely on Oregon. Really, really difficult to attack. So the fact that they weren't able to hold on to it, and it wasn't really anything to do with their setup. I don't think that their setup was that bad. It was just, losing players to those grenades, and then also just losing gunfights in general. Also, there was a player that we see here, Gabs, playing inside of the tall tower. He was playing there before, or a player was. I'm not really sure if it was Gabs before, but losing that player, so losing any sort of potential flank, definitely really hurt them. Turquia getting a little bit overzealous there. He could have easily died from the door if they had pre-fired it at just the wrong moment. So that was, a little bit, could have been really, really bad, but luckily he gets away with his life. And really interestingly, the Guardians Alpha, 2 rounds in a row, aren't even trying to go for the hatch in the first place. They did bring the Maverick, who could make that a little bit easier to take the hatch, of course, against the cave, but they're just not going for it in the first place. And there goes Heavy. I'm not really sure. Oh, he tried to spawn peek, or do a late spawn peek, trying to maybe catch somebody on the rotate, and managed to catch himself on the rotate and go down to the guns of the attackers, putting REH already in a pretty bad position, considering that they've lost a player. Gemma's taking quite a bit of damage here, trying to push in through the fire and the smoke. And there goes the second smoke that will catch him. It will kill him. The second grenade will die with him. Damian, however, does pick up Gaps on the other end of the map. That's, again, any potential flank is gone now, and it leaves Tortilla quite unprotected here, as he can get peeked from those backstairs quite easily. Panda picks up a 2-piece, and it's all down to Tortilla again, or at the very least, it's down to a 1 versus 4 again for REH Gaming. And this is really, really not looking good. They just keep peeking into a lot of these positions, keep getting a little bit over aggressive at certain wrong moments, and it's really not working out for them. Tries to get the kill on the glass, but it's Damian from all the way into the pillar with the Zofia to get the kill. Put another round on the board for Guardians, and as I keep reiterating, not looking good. Not looking good for them as of yet.
No, it's not looking brilliant for REH Gaming, but as looking at last time, we want to be looking at the players of Gemis and Panda, as they were Guardians entries that we saw last time, and we saw a 3-3 split on the swap against Caffeine, which is very important for them, and they brought out a very, very important defense that ended up winning them the game. So looking at it, we will definitely want to be making sure we're looking at Gemis and Panda for the rest of this game on the side of GDRX.
Defenders, protect your bomb.
Yes, definitely. And if you're being a little bit confused about how I'm having 2 different voices, I am not. That is Summon the Nerds. He has joined me yet again. I thought I was going to be solo for this one, but he has decided to cancel his plans of a social life and has decided to come around anyway to keep me company and to keep all of you up to date on the latest statistics. So I'm very happy the fact that I don't have to do this solo again. I'm very happy to have you around. And I guess you could talk for a little bit. What do you think now is going to change with the way that REH are playing now that they are upstairs rather than downstairs, and how is that going to affect Guardians in their attack?
Guardians are very good at adapting, and that was one of the key things that we saw from the Guardians when we had them last time. They were very good at looking at the other opponents, learning what they did, and adapting into it. But coming into this now, either Guardians have had a look at what REH are doing and therefore have adapted straight away and they know what they need to do straight away, or Guardians have come out all guns blazing and they're ready to roll and they don't really have much adaptation that needs doing, and we need to see REH adapt on the other hand. Being upstairs is a very good site, very defender-sided. As we discussed about Oregon, I believe it's 53% defender-sided. It's incredible. And last time we saw a flawless round coming in from GDRX. I have jinxed it. But yes, very exciting stuff, and I'll let it over to you.
Wow. Okay, so Panda went down, but Beauty goes down as well through the vertical coming out from the Zofia. That was a bit of a floor bang. Beautifully predicted his position. I think in a different situation, I might even say check Moss for that one. But I do believe that they had drones there and just other information, so they were quite aware of his positioning there. And Damien does get the finisher onto that player as the drones come in and spot his exact position. Blowing up some more of these Vulcan canisters on the bedroom door to deny as much entry from Guardians as possible. And of course, finally reinforcing this bedroom wall to make sure that they don't just rush in and take control of the site when they don't really want that happening. Gemis and Breathtaking all the way on the other end of the map, trying to push into Attic, throwing grenades, take care of all of this utility. And putting Tortilla in a bit of a pickle as he's having to contest against that, as well as the players pushing in from Trophy, so he's not able to cover that as aggressively as he might wish to. Milo with a shotgun, just holding, waiting for somebody to swing him. And the push has come into the Attic, or at the very least, it will be a Gemini that will be coming in. Oh, lucky that, in fact, Lifeline does get swallowed up by the ADS, so it won't be doing any further damage, but it's Gemis from the Repel to take the kill onto Tortilla. That was the player trying to challenge the Attic push. Milo does get the kill, but immediately traded out, and it's all down to Heavy again as Gaps is the next one to fall down. Gets one. Can he get two more? He knows there's one in Trophy. He knows there's one on the Repel. Can't quite get it. It's Gemis from the Repel to take this shot and to get the kill. Guardians put themselves up 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, as we said there, Gemis was important to watch, and there he is picking up the final kill in the round. Looking at the current scoreboards, we got REH is currently sitting in 6th place and Guardians are in 5th. So this really decides sort of who goes up, who goes down, which I think is REH. Oh, sorry, did I say REH? REH is sitting in 6th and Guardians are in 5th. So it's really important to just decide who goes up and down and what their next matchups might be. And just below them in 7th are 5 Stars, who we saw yesterday play against War Dogs. Good round there.
How are 5 Stars below? Is it just because everyone has... Oh, round difference. Oh, so, yeah.
Due to them having a higher quality of teammate in brackets, or a harder teammate, opposition, it has made their game harder for them to achieve, and therefore has put them down a little bit, but it's only round difference, and I'm sure if they continue to win games, they'll be back up on the top.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But the important thing to note is here is that although there are 16 teams that go through, it vastly it matters where you end up. Okay, REH have requested a timeout at the end of this round, or it will be deployed at the end of this round. They can't deploy it yet, or they can't go into it just yet. It will have to be at the end of the round. They call it a little bit too late. But hopefully that will do them well. But as I was saying, is it matters where you end up even in the top 16, because of course the top 8 go into the Premier League, the bottom 8 or the following 8 go into the Alpha League, and obviously the Premier League is a tier higher and has the chance to relegate all the way into the Champions League, which is the highest tier in Revival League. So the placements do matter, even if you are in the top 16 and are guaranteed to go through into the regular season.
Yeah, so really you're looking at top 16 at the minimum, because that's qualifying territory. But over that, you're looking at top 8. Top 8 is going to put you into our Premier League, which means you can get promoted into our Champions League next season, the end of the finals, or top 3 can. And then the rest of the 8 are going to be put into our Alpha League, which is by no means a small feat and still impressive to be. And it's going to be an exciting watch.
I definitely cannot wait for the regular season to begin to see some of those matches. And already some engagements coming out, using up a lot of utility and a lot of time to try and clear out the players playing inside of Armory. Unbeknownst to them, they've already left and be getting a little bit maybe overzealous as there's a player prone on the balcony that shot his toes just a little bit, but enough to do about 2 bullets worth of damage. So that's going to be a bit of a problem coming down later in the game. Even though he's not dead yet, he will be a little bit worse for wear come any gunfights, and he will be able to survive way less. But again, it is the Maverick and the Iana pushing in from the other end of the map, pushing into Attic with that Maverick torch, trying to do as much damage as possible. And again, because the trophy side has been vacated, Tortilla, the player trying to contest Attic, is having a bit of a problem doing so, as he's getting nades thrown at him from Attic, and then also he cannot really contest them head on because of those head holes and now even a rotate in that wall. Jem is going back on the rappel. We saw him there before. He got the final kill from that angle, and Guardians have done a really, really good job of forcing all of the players to be inside of sight at this time. Except for Beauty, who's trying to go for a flank up those rear stairs to maybe try and catch a kill onto Breathtaking, or anybody really. He will be trying to go up the white stairs, at least at the moment. Damian takes the first kill onto Hebi, who tried to contest him on that breach but wasn't able to do enough. 20 seconds left to go, and these smoke babes are pushing them away from sight a little bit. That breach isn't jumpable, but they've made their way inside of sight. The plant is going down, but they're killing the planter and everybody else in sight. It's all down to Beauty. 1 versus 3. He can see through the smoke, but can he actually kill the planter? He can't, as he sprints straight into Damian's bullets, and there goes another round. The Guardians Alpha, they will be taking their time out now, but they are down far too many rounds. They're down 4-0, and it's not looking good for the defensive half on a defender side at Oregon.
Yeah, I mean, to be losing your defensive halves on a defender-sided map, that's just not something you want to be doing. This map is so heavily defender-sided, it is one of the most in our stats. But that just shows that GDRX are very fluent and they can adapt to either side of their playing field, so they can attack and they can defend. Very, very good attack there. I mean, we saw them pushing in together, clearing out areas together, making it safe for each other to ensure the quality of life of their players and to ensure each of them were able to push safely without losing as much damage as possible. On the side of REH, you said again, I presume that stat has been done before, as we've seen it upstairs. Showing that REH did not quite adapt to it, didn't really change, and were doing the same thing. Sort of, there was one guy at the back trying to hold that attic. There was really no support for him at all. It was just the 1i, which was not an ideal position for him to be in. Although the MP5 is good, especially with that 1.5, it's just not something that can come up against 4 players who are trying to hold an angle and one that is holding your flank. Really, it was an undesirable situation for REH, but I think they need to use it to then consider the future stats that they go in for.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think if they want to salvage something of this, it's going to have to start coming in soon. And I think that they're trying to maybe do a little bit of that as they are going for the tertiary site, which, sometimes I might be a little bit, I might look at that and be like, okay, that's a good decision. It's good to, clear your head, do something different, maybe catch your opponents off guard. But with how well adapted we've seen Guardians be, but also with how, poorly adapted REH seem to be, and how, this isn't coming down to very close rounds of like, oh, it came down to 1v1, our player lost a 1v1, so let's try and go to a site that we might be able to win, just on account of, they didn't adapt to it very well. That's not the case for REH here. They're just trying to find something to grasp onto to try and win a round finally. And after losing your primary and your secondary side pick onto very, very strong sites, going onto a site that is a little bit easier to attack and that is easier to execute on, I do worry for REH. But we've seen teams pull this side off really, really well to the point where the attack has absolutely no chance. So I wouldn't count REH out just yet. They could still do a lot, and the game is still so far from over, so there's still so much to do.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's really important that they do adapt here and they try and change what's happening. They've gone to a different site, which is nice to see. That's probably going to give them some fresh legs. But we can still see quite an upstairs hold. I mean, we've still got one my upstairs in attic. At least he's not alone this time. However, I think this is going to be a good round. I think hopefully REH have learned what they're doing and they're going to try repair their mistakes and issues. I mean, they certainly seem to be countering GDRX here as they seem to be having a mother's meeting, looking at each other and discussing behind the Osa shield until they eventually get it open. But I have burst it and we've lost gaps.
We have lost gaps. That is Damian again. That is his 10th kill on the board right now, and that is a pretty good scoreline. I mean, you mentioned it before that they have quite a few fraggers. There we go, another kill. Finally, Heavy getting the trade onto Panda, using some of these keeper barriers to deny the breach that they had. But unfortunately, Damian is waiting with his crosshairs set up right on his head, and he gets the kill. He gets the utility as well. The wall will be fully opened up now, allowing Guardians even more of an into the site. Nilo will try to contest into the green hallway, but he might get shot down from the back, and he will as Gemis is holding onto that angle. REH is just falling apart, unfortunately. Tortilla does pick up breathtaking upstairs, but there's still so much to do here. Beauty pushing it aside as he loses his teammate upstairs, and Damian just cleaning up at the moment. Guardians take another round. They're up 5-0, and REH, despite the timeout, are just not able to do anything.
Yeah, wow. I mean, another round going to Guardians. I mean, the best they're going to be able to get here is a 5-1 split in going into defense, even going into the attack. Even then, that's 2 rounds that Guardians just have to win defense, which is more than likely on this map. I mean, realistically, we should have seen at least a 3-3 split going off going off statistics and teams of this caliber. It's just, I just don't understand what's gone wrong here for REH. I'm sure, looking back on this pod, they'll be able to look at it, repair their errors, and I'm sure we're going to see a stronger side next time they come out. Hopefully that is exactly what we see. I mean, REH aren't a team that, you look at, their past performances and you think, oh, this team is going to get absolutely wiped. Even though they did get invited, so we didn't really get to see them throughout open qualifiers. I still, we have records of them playing before, and we know how they play in other leagues. So it's like, this isn't a team that is bad. This isn't a team that is like, oh, they really took the close qualifier spot away from another team. That's not really how this works, and that's not really the team that they are. I don't think that there's any such team in the league at the moment in the close qualifiers. So, I really, really hope that, they do improve and they do push themselves into those top 8, but at the very least those top 16, and that we get to see more of them throughout the seasons. I mean, looking at REH's past, they've won their last 8 matches coming up to this one, and that is no small number for the German team, even not a German team. They're doing very well in their games, and they're holding up incredibly impressively, but I just don't know what's happened here in this match against Guardians. They just don't seem to be having what they used to be bringing. They have competed in Relentless League before. We saw them burst for our own eyes there, where they beat lots of different teams. I believe it was Vitatial and Epic. In fact, even in this season, they beat Epic Podcast and Austrian Force Academy 7-4 and 7-5. So all regulation rounds, and they're all rounds that are sort of, you'd expect to see it played against a team like Guardians, who I would put on the level with T3 teams.
Yeah, I mentioned that right at the beginning of the game. That's these are some of the more experienced teams that we have here, and they have a lot of experience playing in those tier 3 leagues. So I really expected quite a big matchup here. But while we were talking, the first kill did come out from Milo onto Chaos, and there was also a run up coming out as well from the side of REH. So they are definitely taking a bit of a more aggressive approach here. Heavy taking what happened?
Wow.
Oh my goodness, so many kills all coming out at the same time. It wasn't quite a flawless, but it might as well have been considering their performances so far. REH take the first round finally, leave the split at 5-1, leave themselves some breathing room as we see the side switch. And I was gonna talk about how they're, playing it a little bit more aggressive, and then all of a sudden they were so aggressive to the point where everybody died. And the round was over before I could even say who did what. But that was a way better executed defense from REH than what we've seen so far.
Excellent and sudden, and it worked really, really well. I mean, they just were able to pick up everyone. Damien getting one last pick there to cancel out that beautiful golden flawless that we like to see at the end of a round. But wow, really impressive. I'm impressed with how they did that. That was a really good defense from them. I think they used a counter very, very efficiently to come out and beat Guardians there in this defense, sort of just aggressing all together at once, picking them off, putting them in a position where they couldn't quite understand what was happening. Yes, very effective. But now we're seeing Guardians on the defense, and as I've repeated earlier, it's like there's an echo in my room. It's a defender-sided map. I mean, likelihood is we're going to see a good few Guardian rounds here. I mean, at least 2 before the REH gets 6.
Yeah.
So it's important here. I mean, REH have got to get 5 rounds of the 6. They've got to actually do a 5-1 in order to win this. Or no, they've got to get all 6 in order to win this in regulation.
Yeah.
So they have to do a 5-1 to get it into OT and all 6 in to get it in regulation. So this is going to be a hard task by all counts. Even professional players are going to struggle to come back from that. But it's going to be exciting. Let's hope they do well, and I wish them the best.
I also hope that they get this quite far and don't go down without a fight. I don't believe that they will. I just wish that a little bit of that aggression that we saw coming out from them in that final round came a little bit earlier. I feel like, them finding their footing in that sense and seeing, okay, this is what we need to do. This is the way that we counter Guardians. I think that would have worked a lot better for them. Obviously, had it come a little bit sooner, had they, put themselves in a position to be that aggressive a little bit earlier. And, it's a little bit harder for that aggression to translate once you're on attack. You might think, oh, attack is the more aggressive side, and it is theoretically, but it's so much harder to aggress into the defense than it is to aggress into the attack from the defense. So, because even if you do lose the opening pick on the defense, you're still in a better position because they still have to come to you unless you give them free picks. So, I really wonder if REH is going to be able to do something here, but unfortunately it's Capcan Traps to take down Gaps, and that is a huge, important kill, as that is their Habana off the board, which means they're not really going to be able to open up these. They're actually not going to be able to open up these edges at all, as the Buck has the flash grenades, not the hard breach charges in pocket, so they're going to have to completely reorganize the way that they are attacking here, and it's already starting to fall apart as they lose Heavy to Panda. Unit not really able to push down those stairs either, trying to rotate, trying to salvage something here in a 3 versus 5. Grenades are going to try and come up, but they will be swallowed by ADSs. There goes a kill finally onto Chaos, who was getting a little bit over-aggressive. Milo finally picking up a kill. Panda, however, finding his shot onto Buni. Tortilla is the next one to go down, and it's all down to Milo. He gets one. Can he get a couple more? He cannot. It's Panda with the finisher. Guardians Alpha put themselves on match point. They're up 6-1, and it's really looking grim now for REH.
I mean, as I was raving about yesterday, those 2-1 gunfights are just what's important. Is what win them, as we saw him there. He got one, but by the time he tried to swing over, there was already someone there who was shooting back at him. Really, really an outstanding play there. REH lost their player at the start, put them in a huge disadvantage because they had to use the stairs or choke points as well. And it just really played into GDRX's hands. Well placed Capcan trap. Unlucky that he didn't see it. Really incredible round. Looking at the scoreboard, Damien has absolutely ran away with the kills. I believe he's on 14, 15. 14 kills, 3 deaths, and 2 assists. That is absolutely outrageous that he's managed to get away with that. I mean, the nearest player to him currently on the leaderboard is his teammate Gemis Panda as well, and on the opposition is Milo with 6 kills. I mean, he's got over doubled those kills. What a player. I mean, to come out here and to do that, I wasn't even expecting this from him. I haven't seen much from him, but that's definitely one that's going to be going in the notebooks.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's we were talking about it, the other day about different teams. You know, when it's like, oh, such and such player show. I think this is definitely a Damien show right now, and but I also don't want to discredit the rest of his team all that much, as that I don't think that Guardians lose a round, even if Damien ends up being the first pick. You know, sometimes you do see that it's like they have a player that is that crucial to be getting those kills that as soon as he's off the board, the entire rest of the team falls apart, and the opposing team is able to pick up the scraps and get around. But I don't think that that's the kind of team the Guardians are, and I think that, if anything is going to happen with Damien being gone first, which he might be here in this round, as he's about to be challenged here by Heavy inside of that kitchen. Of course, he does have Panda to boot as well inside of security, but it could come down to it. But as I'm saying, I don't think that that's going to be, if anything is going to happen out of that, it's just going to, pad up some of those kills on the side of Guardians. I don't think that they necessarily lose it just because he's off the board. It's going to take a lot more for REH Gaming to try and get a round win. But they are looking to pinch the players playing inside of Kitchen right now. I don't know if they're aware of Panda as well, or if they are aware of Panda, if they are aware of Damien. I think they're aware of both by now. And there goes the first kill, Beauty onto Breathtaking. That is a huge, huge kill. That was from the big window. That is a huge kill. That's the smoke gone. So any time wasting that he could be achieving is going to be not doable. And there goes Panda. As I was saying, I don't think that they're aware of both of these players. And Heavy goes down to that player. Milo nearly had a kill or had a go at Damien, but wasn't able to pick up that kill, unfortunately. And they are denying some of this utility on the wall, as that they are denying that Selma charge from deploying, but they are being challenged onto quite a bit. Tortilla trying to find some kills, or just trying to keep the defenders at bay. That's Milo pushing into the attic, or trying to push into the attic. The Selmas will get deployed and will open the wall, giving REH another entry point. So they're going to be in a much better position here as they're trying to attack onto this round. There's no warden for them to worry about, so that could be a bit of a boost, but they don't have any smokes or any flashbangs or anything where a warden could counter them. Luckily, though, the smoke being off the board is very, very good for them, as that will waste less time. And there goes Milo pushing in from attic, gets the kill onto the Cade, playing that shield. Damien, however, follows up with a trade onto Beauty. It's a 3v3. The rounds, the half is equalized again, and the Gemis and Damien both pick up a piece. It's all down to gaps. Very low HP, looks the wrong side of the stairs and loses the gunfight. Game's over. It's GG's in chat, and that's quite the win there. 7-1. Guardians Alpha take it.
That is one hell of a standing that's going to give them. I mean, that's 6 rounds difference. That's a win in regulation as well. Wow, an incredible performance there from side of GDRX. That's going to buff them up a hell of a lot. Really good to see. REH just weren't quite there today, and I hope to see more from them in the future.
Yeah, I definitely hope to see more of them in the future, and I think that it's still only round 2. This is the first game that we've streamed of round 2, so there's still so many games to play out, so many rounds. There's going to be 5 rounds. There's still so much siege to see. And, on a dime, things can turn around. REH could suddenly start to go on an absolute tear. Guardians could start to fall apart. Other teams could start to fall apart, and everything could start to, completely turn around. So many things could still happen. Wouldn't count REH out just yet if you're an REH fan or even an REH player. It's just one bump in the road. I mean, they won their previous game. As you said, they've won their previous however many games, 8, 7, 8. Doesn't even matter. The main point is that one loss doesn't determine their entire fate in this competition as of yet. So
Yeah,
not
I
something
mean,
to worry about
wow,
too much yet.
really quite the match. Looking at the scoreboard now, that puts Guardians actually on the top with 2 wins, 0 losses, and a 9-round difference. Wow, really intense. I mean, it's possible we could see 2 teams go undefeated here, but I really doubt that we're going to, because that would be relying on no matchups between 5 Stars and Guardians Alpha. But it's going to be an exciting game, and I think we should get ready for it, and I think we should prepare for it. Who's your MVP for the day, Retro?
I mean, is that really a question? The MVP, I think, has to go to Damien just because of how well he did. I think a lot of the time we try to, give the support players a bit of a moment to shine, or like those flex players who might not have gotten all of the kills, but were there for the plants, were there for the trades, were there for the drones. But I don't think that really can apply to a 7-1 win that came down to kills for the most part, and when the scoreboard was so dominated by one player who denied it being a flawless round, that one round that REH were able to win. I think we just had to give it to Damian. I think we might get stabbed if we don't at this point. People do tend to get mad when we give it to the quote unquote wrong player. I don't really want to step on any toes by not giving it to Damian here.
I mean, I don't think we can't give it not to Damien. I mean, Damien just was outstanding. There's no way we don't give it to him. 15, 16 kills, I think it was in the end.
Yeah, something like that.
Wow, that's just nothing close to something we've seen so far.
It really just isn't, right? It's so far
really
away.
good performance. Really just an amazing performance. And I think so exciting.
Very, very exciting. I haven't checked the schedule out. Do we have any games coming up? I don't think we do. Any games on stream, at least not that I know of as of yet. So, either way, we thank you everybody for watching. We will catch you maybe later tonight if we do, or at the very least, we will catch you tomorrow with more games from round 2. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Keep those notifications on. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.
Just a simple quest for riches, oh, with the funny waves settling just the way it should. Shackles and rusty chains, I will never be tied down. I'm proudly free, I control my destiny.